Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really digging into something I think a lot of you ponder. Taking something you're genuinely passionate about and, well, making it your career.
Yeah, and we're using a great piece by Liz Elting as our guide. She wrote an article for Forbes, Building Your Dream Life, How to Turn Passion into Purpose.
Right, and Liz Elting isn't just theorizing. She actually built a billion-dollar global company, basically, from her dorm room. So this is grounded in, what, 25 years of her own experience?
Exactly. It's that real-world perspective, the ups and downs of actually doing it. So our mission today really is to pull out actionable things, key mindsets you can use.
But also keeping it real. It's not magic. It involves a lot of hard work.
Definitely. Which brings us straight to that common saying,
Oh,
you
no.
know the one.
Oh, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Yeah. Elting addresses that head on.
She does. And she sort of frames it as, well, maybe minimizing the sheer effort involved.
It's appealing, sure, but maybe a bit misleading.
Right. Her point is that passion doesn't make the work disappear. What it does do is make the hard work, the inevitable struggles, feel endurable, as she puts it. It fuels you.
It's the fuel. That makes sense. It's what keeps you pushing when things get tough, which they inevitably will.
And that leads to a really important point about where that passion comes from. Is it genuinely yours, deep down?
Or is it like influenced by what your friends are doing or family expectations or just what looks good on paper?
Exactly. Elting warns about chasing something your heart really isn't in. Because when you hit those big challenges, those make or break moments.
That lack of real internal drive makes it way harder to stick it out. You might just fold.
Yeah, that deep-seated belief, that internal compass, it's crucial for sustaining the, frankly, immense effort required for building something significant.
So step one is really that honest self-check. What truly excites you, forget everyone else for a minute.
Okay, so once you've hopefully identified that genuine spark, Elting says give yourself permission to dream big.
Time and space to really dream, no limits, no judgment. I like that. But dreaming alone isn't enough, right? That's where the planning comes in.
Precisely. The dream is the what, but you need the how. Translating that big vision into a concrete plan is the critical next step.
And she acknowledges it doesn't need to be this perfect, flawless document right away.
No, not at all. It's likely going to change, evolve as you learn, but it needs to provide that initial direction, that sort of North Star, and outline the main steps to get you started.
It's about moving from just thinking about it to actually doing something, taking action.
And you don't have to invent everything from scratch. She suggests learning from others.
Right, reading books, studying how successful people actually brought their ideas to life, see how they navigated the process.
And it's not just about learning at the start, is it? It's this continuous thing.
Definitely. She emphasizes that ongoing learning, that constant growth, is essential. It actually fuels the passion itself and helps you keep moving towards those bigger goals.
It's like a cycle, really. Learning sparks passion. Passion drives more learning, keeps the momentum going.
Okay, so we have the passion, the big dream, and a starting plan, our North Star. What's next? She talks about a blueprint.
Yeah, stick to your blueprint, build a solid foundation, and then keep building and improving. So it's not static.
It's alive, it evolves.
Exactly. And a key part of that is learning from every single interaction, every project. Not just the wins, but focusing on the breakdowns behind the scenes.
Finding the snags, the inefficiencies.
Right. Where did things get clunky? How can we streamline that next time? It's this constant process of looking for kinks to iron out, improvements, and importantly, opportunities for growth.
Always improving, and especially early on, that self-accountability piece she mentions is huge.
Oh, absolutely. When you're starting out, there's often no one else holding you to deadlines or goals. It has to come from you. Taking ownership is critical.
And that blueprint you started with, you got to revisit it regularly.
Yeah, check in. Are you hitting milestones? Why or why not? Have your goals shifted? Is there new information you need to factor in? It adapts with you and with the market.
So you build the foundation, but then you can't just stop there. Elting has a stark warning. Stagnancy is the death of business.
Oof, yeah. You can't afford to get comfortable or stand still for too long. The world changes, your industry changes. You need to keep growing, keep improving, just to stay relevant.
But there's a balance, right? She mentions scaling wisely.
Yes, it's that tightrope walk between growing to meet demand and, not stretching yourself too thin financially or operationally.
So setting goals that are ambitious but achievable, and plans that are realistic but also flexible enough to handle curveballs.
That flexibility is key because things rarely go exactly according to plan.
And this growth isn't just about the business structure, it's personal too. Investing in yourself, your skills.
And finding ways to stand out authentically, adding those Personal touches, as she calls them. Maybe it's amazing customer service. Maybe it's a unique way you approach your work.
Those little things can make a big difference in building loyalty, especially when you're smaller.
And speaking of customers, Elting really highlights their importance. She calls clients an incredible resource.
Which makes total sense. They're the ones using your service or product. They know what they need, where the gaps are, what problems they're facing.
If you actually listen to them, deeply listen, you get invaluable insights into where the real opportunities lie. It helps you find your unique niche.
Carving out that space where you can offer something special, focusing on what only you can do really well.
And her own story is the perfect example. She says listening to clients is what propelled her company from that dorm room to, well, a billion-dollar business. It wasn't just her initial idea. It was adapting based on client needs.
So a question for you listening, are you really tuning into your audience? Understanding their pain points?
Good question. Okay, now, taking the leap, starting something new based on passion. It always involves risk. Elting is clear on that.
But she stresses calculated risks, not just jumping blindly.
Right. Thinking it through, weighing the potential upsides and downsides. And just as important, she talks about setting firm boundaries.
Boundaries are like guardrails, aren't they?
Exactly. They protect you and the venture. She gives examples like, how are you funding this? Who do you partner with? How much profit gets reinvented? What are your hiring standards? Your quality benchmarks?
These define how you operate. And she shares that her company decided early on to be entirely self-financed. That was a major boundary for them.
A huge one. It shaped their entire growth strategy.
And she also mentions one boundary that's absolutely non-negotiable: integrity.
Yeah. You might need to step outside your comfort zone constantly, but never by compromising your core values or ethics.
That's fundamental. So it's about being bold but smart, taking measured risks while staying true to your principles and your predefined limits.
That combination helps avoid burnout and ensures you're building something sustainable, something you can actually be proud of long term.
Finally, Elting gives a dose of perspective. This whole process, turning a dream into a real, thriving thing, it's often long and arduous.
It's definitely not an overnight success story, usually. It's a marathon.
Which is exactly why she says it's so important to pause and celebrate the wins along the way, those moments of victory.
Big or small, right. Acknowledge the progress. It keeps you going. It refuels you.
Because that feeling, as she puts it, of quite literally living your dream, seeing your idea make a difference, that feeling is priceless.
It makes all the hard work, the long hours, the challenges feel worthwhile in the end. It's the payoff.
And she wraps up with this really empowering note directly to you, the listener. It was possible for me, and I know it's possible for you too.
That's a great message to end on.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the big takeaways from Liz Elting. First, genuine passion is your essential fuel. Second, you absolutely need a plan, even an imperfect starting one, and you need to execute it.
Third, embrace continuous improvement. Always be building, refining, learning. Fourth, grow strategically. Don't stagnate, and really listen to your customers.
Fifth, take calculated risks, but always within firm boundaries, especially around integrity. And sixth, remember it's a long journey, so celebrate those milestones.
So here's something for you to think about after this. Take a moment to reflect on that passion, that initial dream you have. What's one small, truly concrete step you could take, maybe even today, to start sketching out that initial blueprint?
And while you're thinking about that first step, also consider, what are one or two fundamental boundaries you need to set right from the start to protect your vision and your values as you move forward?